Okay, very good, Paul. And yes, from Kilo Alpha 7 Radio Charlie Nancy Mike here in southeastern Ohio, near Reiner de Mills, or near that's the village there, but also west of New Matamoros here. Very good, Paul. Yes, I do recollect many QSOs with you, and also some emails I got from you on that resource there for AM, type of AM operation there, different archives and archived work. Anyway, so Paul, I was messing around here in the shack. It's been very cold today, 50 degrees or so, and we've been working outside for a little while today, but it's decided to come in and play in the radio shack here. So anyways, very good to hear you. I'm operating here on a Johnson Viking Valiant, and I'm trying to bring back to life here. So it's been in place here a couple weeks, so we enjoy using it, Paul. So back to you there. VE3, I'm sorry, VA3 VJB KA7 RCN over.
You know, what's funny is that with all the political turmoil that we've got going on, certain Americans are actually longing to go to Canada, but I haven't gotten there yet, so it's Whiskey Alpha 3. That's okay. VJB, making a transmission there, Mike. Yeah, good. Well, the Valiant's doing a nice job. I happen to have the recording machine going. If you haven't already heard it, I'll upload this one as well, and you can take a listen to your handiwork there, bringing that one back from the dead. I've pretty much migrated to 40 meters here the past few years, Mike. I used to be an inhabitant of 75 and 80 meters, and I deliberately split the two because I've been hanging out down low around 3705, 37 and a quarter in the evenings, where there are a number of gatherings of AMers in the evening. And then again in the morning, 3705 turns active with a group in upstate New York who I like to visit with from time to time. But past that, I'm pretty much found here on 40 meters daytime, starting up in the morning, and then when the band takes a nap in the middle of the day, I'll break for lunch and then come back again in the afternoons. Sometimes here in the evenings I'll have left stuff on, and I'll come back out once again to see what's up. And so it's nice to have you answer my CQ, Mike. Yeah, I think I remember the picture of your, I call it a gentleman's farm. It doesn't have thousands of acres like you'd see out in the Midwest. But your house there is kind of in a hollow, if I remember correctly, the picture, the image that I have in my mind. And so this shades your antenna a little bit in certain directions. But I tell you, every time I hear you on, you have a really good signal, and that's the case here again tonight into Annapolis, as well as into one of the Kiwi SDR receivers on which I'll be making this recording. So you got your station pretty much sorted out there, Mike, in the time since you've moved off from Sevenland. KA7RCN, back to you, WA3VJB.
Yeah, great. VA3VJB, KA7RCN. I'm just trying to do some station maintenance here. Just to see what we have on the loading here. Let me see here if I do the right thing at the right time here. Let's see, loading here. I don't want to do that. Okay, leave things alone here. Pardon the station maintenance here. I'm not exactly a compliance operator, but I move very slowly in the areas of tube transmitters. Anyways, very good. Thank you for the report. There's lots of noise on the band, but you're coming through a great report. Yeah, I remember when I first came down. You're one of the fine people that I met. I think we talked about band and voice. We had a neat conversation there about different voice or wish you were in broadcasting, and you certainly have the voice for it. That's for sure. So we talked about the OR bands and the different types of audio processors and so on and so forth. It was very interesting. Yeah, we're just messing around here today. I was working on a lawnmower. I had to do some back engineering, doing some machining on the pulleys and a different belt configuration and realigning things. So I think I got a good mower back in shape again after resurrecting it from junkyard, I guess. But we got that thing pretty much delivered for a test drive. Ran a few through lines through the field, and it looks like it's going to mow the grass. So anyway, it was very windy today, around 50 degrees, 53 degrees or so, Paul, here, and a lot of rain. We've got a lot of misty rain. It's supposed to be about the same tomorrow, except maybe about up around 63, 64 degrees. So it is going to warm up. So I'll get to do some more fooling around out there on the property. Yeah, we're still here on the old farm, the small farmhouse, and back in a what they call a holler in a valley here. Very quiet, no neighbors. Probably vastly different from where you're at there in Annapolis, Maryland. So anyway, back to you, Paul. Thanks for picking me up. A VA3 VJB, always a pleasure. KA7RCN.
KA7RCN, WA3VJB, right back. Yeah, very good, Mike. Nice transmission. Yeah, well, your lawnmower story, your lawn tractor story reminds me of a friend of mine who recently unearthed an old snowblower from his father-in-law's barn. It must date back to the 1950s or so, based on the engine nomenclature and the oil bath air filter and all the other old design cues. And he got it running again after replacing the tank. It just rusted through. And gave it to, I guess, the husband of his niece for this past winter's clearing of the snow. And the story that was told subsequent to that is that the neighbor bought a brand new, with headlight, Honda snowblower, many times the price, and he could never get it started. There was some trick or some maladjustment or some other reason, and here instead was this 70-year-old snowblower, a rope start, no headlight, that he could pull and clear the driveway forthwith. So I think he also did his neighbor's driveway as a courtesy and a bit of a thumb to the nose at the newer technology that the Honda must have had a problem with. So I'm glad you brought yours back there. If that's a vintage machine, maybe if it's not even 70 years old. Some of those old lawn deck mowers are classics in and of themselves. I used to earn a lot of gas money, Mike, by cutting my grandparents' grass with a Lawn Boy 2-cycle lightweight aluminum deck lawnmower. I think it was considered the Honda of its day. It was a premium lawnmower, not your Briggs & Stratton or your Tecumseh type of 4-stroke engine, but rather a 2-stroke engine that had a little priming button on it. And instead of the rope coming out horizontally, you pulled directly up on it on a flywheel gearing system. And the thing was so easy to start and so lightweight that there was no time at all to cut my grandparents' grass. And I earned a whole $5, which was about a half a tank of gas in those days. So, man, take me back in time. These days, I have a granting of permission for a farm parcel not far from here, where we run the Labrador Retrievers that we have. They love it out there in the field. And the owner has let the property go fallow. He hasn't had anything more than field grass in it for years now. And when that grass gets high enough, of course, you got the risk of ticks and poison ivy, I suppose, along the wood's edge. It doesn't grow out in the meadow. So I've taken a push mower of our own, just a little 24-inch push mower, And about 2 hours worth of work, I will cut 6 linear miles of grass in that open field, make a great big loop, 5 or 6 stripes of the 24-inch width, and I calculated it out. It's about 6 linear miles, Mike. And man, that lawnmower comes back for more. I change the oil at the end of the season, put Mobil 1 synthetic in it, keep corn-free gas in it, and I've only rebuilt the carburetor once in about the 20 years that we've owned the thing, and a good 15 years worth of farm cutting on that as well. So it's, if it had an odometer on it, it would have gone over a couple of times, Mike, I'm pretty sure. KA7RCN WA3VJB.
Great story there, Paul. I can believe that. You're a guy after my own heart when it comes to messing around. I've been doing it since I was a kid. It's funny you mentioned about the lawn boy. I was down in town the other day, down in New Matamoros, little small town there. And I come around to get back on 260 to go back up into the hill country to go home. And there was a guy cutting this grass. He's on a lawn boy, 2-cycle mower. I had to stop and get out. And I said, I can't believe this. They outlawed this thing in California 20 years ago. And he just laughed at me. He goes, yeah, they were my grandparents. And he says, we got a couple of them, and I use them every day. And it was just that. It just pulled along, 2-stroke, and, yeah, talk about lightweight. The mower I'm talking about is it's a Husky, and I picked it up. I saw it on the way to town one day, sitting at the side of the road. Well, the guy wanted some money for it, but we negotiated. In fact, he brought it out here for me on a trailer, and it was kind of in a dilapidated, non-functioning condition. But anyway, just a little TLC, realigning the pulleys, and I had to remachine some things on it to bring the slack, keep up some of the old slack, and some of the pivot pins were loose. And so today was the maiden voyage, and I'm working the mill and the lathe, and some welding, and reboring the holes. My gosh, it runs like a champ. And I got about $350 in it in total with parts, and of course my time. But as compared to what you want for a new one, but what a great idea. When you told me you ran a couple swaths through the field, it was a great idea. I mean, you got your own walking trail. And you're right, imagine the dogs, I don't know if you run them on a leash or they just stay close to you, but yeah, you got to keep an eye on them for all those nasty ticks and things like that. I do here too, Paul. I have some acreage here. Did I usually run cattle? I run more cattle. I have 5 right now. I got a bull and 4 cows. But the fellow that's running he's running the cattle. He's getting married tomorrow. Well, that's another story altogether. But he was supposed to bring some more cattle. So I have some very, very tall grass now in my pastures. And I'm not real crazy about that because that was our deal. Basically, just a handshake. You keep my fields clean with the cattle, and I'll help out here and there. But mostly just because of the ticks, like you were saying, and also snakes. You know, we do have copperheads around here down in this valley. It's very rocky, and the hillsides or even large hillsides are I'm down near the bottom of the base of the valley here, and the elevation at the top of the hill is about 1,100 feet. So I like to keep them clear, but I think maybe before too long, I might be able to get my wishes back and get more cattle here to help keep down the tall grass. Anyway, so back to you there. Sounding very good, Paul. VA3 VJB KA7 RCN.
KA7RCN, WA3 VJB, right back. Yeah, another nice transmission. The conditions are good this evening, I gotta say. I was looking at my notes, and the Husky, that used to be quite a good American brand. I think they actually made some products for Western Auto. My dad was an executive with Beneficial Finance, whose company bought Western Auto, the master corporation, not just the individual franchises. So the family got a discount on all the appliances that Western Auto used to sell. And one of them was a riding mower that I think was built by Husky. I remember finding a manual for it. And although it carried Western Auto Wizard branding, it had an exploded diagram of the transport and the engine mounts, which was marked Husky. So that was my exposure to a fairly well-built machine. That took us through, 2 different yards in the early 1960s through the early 1970s. Had a 3-speed transmission, not with a shiftable, an upshift or downshift clutch, but you would start in the gear that you intended to cut at. A little bit different than in like a manual shift car. But I remember the third gear in the thing for a 10-year-old felt really fast. And of course I would only use that if Dad had gone to the store. I was supposed to cut in second gear because that was a nice, safe, slow speed. And of course first gear was if you're on a hill or something, I guess, and you really needed to be careful. But I was a third gear kind of guy. Not only got the yard cut quicker, but had more fun doing so. And I forgot about the snakes. We've got mostly black snakes here, garter snakes and such like that. Not a big deal, but yeah, they like the grass too. And the dogs are off leash. That's the only way they can get any real exercise. It's about a 2-mile loop that we have out there. It takes us about 90 minutes as we do a lot of exploring. I'm what they call the pack leader for our Lab Safari configuration, Mike. Ordinarily, I'm in the lead. The big guy is right behind me. He's a butterscotch lab. And then the little chocolate lab, her name is Katie. She's behind him. And we're in single file going down the path. It's not as if it's that skinny of a path. I mean, 6 rows across. Well, the push mower is a pretty nice width. And the reason why I chose that number of passes is that it's long enough or wide enough that the grass, when it gets long enough, does not lean over and brush your lower legs where the ticks then jump off and get a free ride. Of course, the dogs are on that systemic tick guard that I wish we could take. As soon as the tick even starts to bite in, 1 millisecond later, it's dead with legs up. And we have to check ourselves when we get in, and I use a variety of sprays. I think we talked about this too, because you're an outdoor guy, with the permethrin on clothing and picaridin on skin if you're wearing shorts. It really gets hot out. The picaridin is kind of a pepper-like natural substance. It actually repels mosquitoes and chiggers and ticks and greenhead flies, for that matter. And then the permethrin on the socks and boots and lower pants legs is actually toxic and kills the creepy crawlers that are trying to get on there. And the combination seems to be pretty effective. I can pass that along. And you can buy spray bottle containers of it that's pretty cost effective. So that's what we've been using for the past number of seasons, and it's worked out pretty well. Yeah, like I said, your Valiant's doing a nice job. I've gotten a better sense of it now that your signal has come up even more than it was. And I don't know if you did any audio mods to that or not, but it does sound sweeter than the typical Valiant. I think you'll be pleased at the sound of this recording. I've had to shift the passband to the high side. There's a group of incompatible operators on the low side of 7285. So I'm actually listening to 7285 up. And it's a pretty nice chunk of passband there to hear how your rig's going, Mike. Heard a couple of stations. One came to zero, another was already there. You might drag your feet a second in case someone wants to join us. And hopefully you'll all be able to hear one another here. KA7RCN at New Matamoros, Ohio. Here's Annapolis Radio, WA3VJB.
Good evening,
in Delaware. Ed in there? Who's the other station?
Oh boy, I think we had two stations. Again, please, slowly, I could get the calls over.
November 3, Charlie X-Ray Papa.
Yeah, we got Tom and Ed in there.
3 Papa Tango X-Ray.
Okay, I got... let me grab my spectacles here. I got November 3, Charlie X-Ray Papa, and then I got something Tango X-Ray. I'll let... I'll say hello to N3 CX. Go ahead, sir, and pick it up. And I'm in QSO here with Paul in Annapolis, Maryland, VA3BJB. And so the N3 station, please pick it up and pass it to Paul, and then maybe Paul can pick up the other station. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and very good. And I missed your call sign. If you'd give it to me, over.
Yes, my call, sorry. My call is Kilo Alpha 7, Radio Charlie November, KA7 RCN. Over.
Well, very good. And I didn't get to QRZ fast enough. Your name, please.
I am located in southeastern Ohio. Over.
Roger that. I just didn't get your name. Over.
Okay. I guess I'm not following protocol here. My name is Mike. Mike India Kilo Echo.
Well, thanks very much, Mike. Well, I'm doing just fine. I just didn't react quick enough here, and I couldn't get over to QRZ to just discreetly look up the call and say, okay, it's Mike. Very good. My name is Tom, and we're in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And we know Paul very well. It's nice to hear you, Paul. I think the last time I was on the air was the last time we spoke, so it's been quite some time here. And we're running a super senior and into a doublet this evening in the Lehigh Valley. We're probably located about 100 miles or so, sort of north. A little bit, well, I guess almost due north of Paul. And let's see what else. Well, I use a beam, but I've put up a doublet recently. Converted my, I used to have a Marconi T, and I just converted it to a doublet. It's a little automatic tuner, and it seems to be working quite well here this evening. Bank conditions the last few days were pretty rotten, and it seems like finally 40 meters has come back. So, Mike, nice to meet you, and I'll pass it over to Paul. And Paul, I know there was another station here because I heard him when I turned it over to you. So, go ahead, WA3VJB M3CXP. Good evening.
Yeah, I was kind of the complicating force there, Mike. I was trying to contribute quickly in recognition of Ed, KA3 Papa Tango X-Ray. Ed checked in, and then Tom checked in. N3 Charlie X-Ray Papa there for the logbook. With KA7RCN, this is WA3VJB for a quick one. Yeah, nice to hear you on, Tom. I'll say I've been hearing Howard on quite a lot. We've been talking about you. I intended to ask him whether you were traveling again or why we hadn't heard you on, so here you are. Maybe you're back from somewhere. You do seem to do some gallivanting. And the rig sounds good this evening. Don't know if that's the dressed up super senior with the board and the equalizer, but it's got a good tone to it here this evening. I guess the cat has not messed with your controls. You seem to have quite a devil of a cat there that messes up either your input level that overdrives things at that point, or drives the output too hard, or some series of things that now gets associated and blamed on the cat. So, sorry about that.
Okay, very good. WA3BJB in the group KA3PTX. I was just doing a drive-by here. I was listening to you guys talking about mowing and lawnmowers and all that kind of stuff. And it brought back a lot of memories of using two-stroke lawn boy mowers. I earned a lot of money, not a lot of money, enough money to buy some old shortwaves and receivers and stuff back in the day with my paper route money and mowing lawns. I did have a two-stroke lawn boy. He had a cast aluminum frame, and then a couple Brayton Strattons and one real old school one that had the rope. The kind of rope around the wooden handle, pull it, fancy electric starters and all that kind of stuff. And Mike, a good signal here, K7 RCN, good signal here into Wilmington, Delaware. Handle here is Ed again, 25 miles south of Philadelphia, running an H224 tonight. It's an SD220 amplifier. Listen to you guys on the 2017 receiver. Exactly. Running him. Well. Really big signals here on 40 meters. The band sounds pretty good shape. Listening earlier in the week, it sounded to be not so good. And Mike, I do have a question for you. What is that car that you have on your QRZ webpage? Turbocharger or something? All kinds of stuff come out of the hood there. Very interesting. And Tom in Allentown. Something up here also. And I'm down. Well, just passing through, heard some good signals, and I mowed my grandfather's 1-acre lot in Elkton, Maryland, many years ago. An old Husky lawnmower, tractor, you can call it. Wasn't very high tech or anything, but did the job. Or Husky's still making lawnmowers anymore. Anyway. So I'm going to send it back to Mike, KA7 RCN, and I think Tom picked it up. I might just listen out here. Might be in for one more transmission, but did have to comment on good signals here on 40 meters tonight, and if you want to hear about Mike's bar there in Ohio, a lot of stuff sticking out of the hood. I forget how it goes to. I probably knew, but anyway, whoever gets it, pick it up, and I'll listen out here. Good signals here to Wilmington, Delaware.
Go ahead, Mike.
Alrighty, I'll try and pick it up. Very good, Ed. Nice to you. I believe their call was Kilo Alpha 3, Papa Tango X-Ray in Delaware. I didn't get who you were running for a transmitter, but fine business, doing a very nice job. Very deep QSB here, anywhere from 20 to -9, but I've been able to struggle through. It's not just conditions. And hello to Tom there near Allentown, Pennsylvania, in 3CXP. Well, I'll just keep the transmission short here. The car is a is a pro-charged Thunderbird. It has a large displacement V8, 548 cubic inch, and originally was fit for drag racing and what they call super gas. So anyway, that's the car. It's sitting out there in my sitting out there on the farm in the enclosed car trailer. I have pretty much put the drag racing away till I get busy here on the farm. And so, anyways, hello to you there, Tom. Very much the same signals all the way around. So I'll keep it short. Let me see. I'm gonna turn it back to Tom. Tom, over to you. N3CXP in the group KA7RCN. Over.
Oh, very good, Mike. Nice signals all around this evening. From New Matamoros, Ohio. We have a town here in Pennsylvania called Matamoros. I wonder if that's the original Matamoros and you're the new, I suppose. But it's right across from Port Jervis, where the Pennsylvania and New York State come together above the water gap. So very good. Yeah, very interesting car. I was just checking it out on QRZ. And both of you guys, you and it, have great stations with eclectic collections of equipment, like I guess we all do here, from the kind of the latest to the ancient. So I'm using the Super Senior tonight, although I like to fire up the Viking Ranger and the R398 from time to time. But I've been doing such little operating lately that this is. Appliance operating at this point is probably good enough. So, and Paul, nice to hear you again. Yeah, Howard's using. I could actually use a little more gain here. I think on where we go. Probably not too bad. He's been operating the station considerably more than I have. We had a kind of an incident here about a month ago with our son. It was April 26th, I think. Yeah, we got a call, and our son ended up with a bacterial pneumonia, which evolved into a pleural effusion. Now, this guy's a 40-year-old ex-Penn State athlete, fit as a fiddle, and he started to get sick. And long story short, I went over to Summit, New Jersey, and I, stayed with family, and then my wife came along. I was there for 10 days, I guess, and they took 3.5 liters of fluid in his pleural cavity out, and he's doing great. He's almost fully recovered. He's on a PICC line getting an antibiotic, but we think what happened was he got a coronavirus back in early March, and aspirated when he threw up, and got something in his lung, and it didn't develop for about a month, and then he almost died. I mean, it was really weird. So we were there for off and on for 2 weeks, and then got back here and got back to living and so on. And so they have 2 kids and 1 on the way. So we were pretty busy between hospital visits and running around. But So I haven't been doing much operating. We got back, and the place needed a lot of work. In fact, we were talking about tractors. I just got I have a 2000 John Deere 345, and I just can't kill it. So I got it back in shape yet for another year, and it looks like new. It's a great little machine, but we've got plenty to do here with all the rain and so on. So. All I did ham radio-wise was buy a really cool automatic antenna unit and convert my Marconi T to a full doublet here, 140 foot up the top, and it works better than when it was operating as a Marconi T. Everybody's coming in just great. I can switch back and forth, and the full doublet works better than the beam right now. Paul, over to you. I think we'll get it next. WA3VJB, N3CXP.
I get an incredibly strong signal in here. just really at least 20 over 9. I doubled instantly with somebody else. Who was that?
K2IJY, Spokane, New York.
Yeah, hi, Dave. K2IJY joining us. I'll get it over to you in a sec. Write it down here for sure. WA3VJB with the group. Yeah, well, first of all, I'm glad your son has recovered, especially reassuring. I think his athletic background probably gave him a little more formidable pushback to the infection that he had. Gee, imagine a lesser mortal getting something like that. We may not have saved him. So, yeah, that's a tremendous crisis that you had there. And I'm glad he was able to recover. Mercy. It's shocking. Yeah, I've known at least 2 people who have had that persistent kind of COVID that has caused a loss of taste or a loss of smell. And, it's out there, and we seem to have become complacent about its presence out there. And I still have boxes of N95 masks that actually came in handy when pollen season came along. But, you don't see that out there anymore in public places. We've been to a couple of concerts. And it makes you wonder what the prevalence of it is, unless it's this group immunity that they've talked about over the years. And Ed, I think that was an HT34 that you're on. That's what I copied. HT34 into an SP220 amplifier there for, I think Mike had asked what your rig was. And, yeah, grass cutting money, buying radios, that in your newspaper route. Yeah, same sort of thing here. I used it to keep the Electromobile filled up. 20-gallon tank, 52 and 9 for super ethyl. This was 1972 or so. And I had just gotten my driver's license. We still have the car. My grandfather bought it 60 years ago, brand new, 1964. 61 now. And it became my first car, and I've kept it ever since. So, yeah, it's car topics, a whole nother scene we could get into here, I'm sure. What with the 500 some odd cubic inch engine that Mike had dropped into the T-Bird. My goodness. And I thought my mom's Mercury was something. She has, well, she passed away a year ago, but she had for many years, and it's still in the family, a 1969 Mercury Marquis convertible with a 429, 4-barrel, dual exhaust, and cruise traction. And they let this thing out on the public streets. Especially with the kid who just got his license. Yeah, that would light him up. Especially with those H70 by 15 tires. Bias-wide tires in those days. Oh, man. I'm sure you guys are all nodding, because you know what that is. So, Dave, how you doing? Here's who you're going to pass it over to. It goes back to Ed, KA3 Papa Tango X-Ray. And he's kind of doing stuff around the room there, so if Ed doesn't pick it up, Mike, you take it again. KA7 Radio Canada National, RCN in Ohio, Dave. That's the players here, along with Tom, who you just heard. K2IJY. How are you tonight? WA3VJB. Are you hearing everyone?
Oh, yeah, I'm hearing fine. Everybody coming in real well. Out there, 20 over 9. You have guys are blasting in. I'm upstate New York, about 100 miles north of New York City. I'm running a Johnson 500. My Chambers R390A. And that's about it. Not much else. Let me cut the audio down a little bit. Background noise. I'll cut the background noise a little bit down. There we go. Anyway, not too much else. Yeah, that's that 429 engine, probably Ford product. Quite rare. They put them in the GT 500, didn't they? In the Mustang GT 500. I think it was they had the 350 and they had the 500, and another one had 428s, but a few of them had 429s. So, anyway, that's little I know. Long time ago, I know those motors from decades ago. You don't find them anymore. You know what you don't find anymore? A 308 Flathead Mercury or Lincoln. A 308 Lincoln it was. They made a 337, I think, and they had a 308 flathead. It was a big 239 Ford. You know, I only saw one in my life, so I do know it exists. Let's see, K3 PTX, you get it? K2IJY, Shell Canada.
Yeah, very good there, Dave. K2IJY and a nice group here in good conditions tonight from KA3 PTX, Wilmington, Delaware. Yep, just heard you guys do a drop in and drive by, but I think this is my last transmission because there's a lot of interesting things you guys are talking about, so yeah, very cool about the cars and COVID's not so cool, but yeah, I did good on I guess Tom there had some pretty bad issues there with the COVID scene, but seems to be some recovering. That's great. And yeah, the friend of mine was admitted to ICU a few days ago in bad shape with COVID, so it's still around. It's pretty crazy. It's not in the headlines like it used to be, but still out there, so certainly something to be aware of. And the transmitter I was on earlier, I'm on the Super Senior now, I switched over, but I was on an HT44. So how I practice HT44, I think Paul said HT34, but HT44, and I was feeding it into the amplifier. And wow, the Drive 48 cubic inch Thunderbird, that's impressive. I had a 70 Chevelle SS with a 454 stick shift here for a while. That was a lot of fun working on that, restoring it, going to car shows and everything, and I let it go. And mostly interested in restoring motorcycles these days. Mention. The car I had way back was a 76 Duster, Plymouth Duster. It had slant 6 in it, so it wasn't a high performance car, but that motor was solid. Man, that thing would run forever and never give me any trouble. Slant 6 in a Plymouth Duster. And I worked on a lot of other car stuff over the years and motorcycle stuff, but fun. And talking about riding mowers and lawnmowers and stuff, I bought a 1976 Cub Cadet garden tractor built by International Harvester. It's built like a tank. It's built like the International Harvester's tractors. Cast iron, this and that. The thing weighs like 800 pounds, and I restored it, and that's what I use to cut the grass these days. Not that I have a big lot, but it's fun driving the old tractor around. So with that, I'll say 7-3, guys, and nice catching up with you, and I think it goes back to Mike. 57 RPN. If not, whoever gets it picks it up, and I'm gonna head upstairs and grab some dinner. Great signals here on 40 meters. Everybody's sounding great. No struggling hearing anything. And I was gonna ask Paul something. Oh, great on your father's car and still having that. That is great. Great to still hang on to that. So whoever gets it, pick that up. KA3 PTX. I'll be signing clear here from Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay. Nice to be breaking up. Yeah, okay. I believe that was Ed. Yeah, Ed, K3 PTX in Delaware. Very good. I think he said he was on a HT44 and he went to I think you said the Super Senior. But anyway, good car stories. You know, we could really get really radical when we talk about cars. And I remember Paul telling me about his vehicle there. A very nice collector's unit as well. Yeah, it's just one of those things, you know. And that's what I learned early on growing up was mowing grass and shoveling snow and critiquing around the property. So the only thing I had to do was to change oil in the mower, and you didn't have to worry about the alcohol gas back in those days. Yeah, the gas was just raunchy. If it was in there over a year, it looked bad and it smelled terrible. But now it looks bad and it rusts inside the bowl if you don't drain it over the winter high. Hello to Dave. I believe it's Dave there with the Johnson 500, listening on a R398. Very good signal there, Dave, from New York. My name is Mike. I'm in southeast Ohio. I'm using a Viking Valiant, Valiant here, Johnson Valiant, and just basically got it back on the table here, and very nice condition. I was very lucky with this purchase, and then unmolested, and so I was able to do some a complete cap job on it, replacing capacitors, and of course all the other lots of really good articles that on the internet there from various local guys, local people actually, like Tim and the wireless girl there with her input. So we just followed the other people that had gone before. So anyway, Dave, let me see, or no, Ed, your signal was 20 over, nice and steady. With the Johnson. So, and Mike, my sympathy there with, I believe it was Tom's son, getting the virus in a different situation there, but luckily it sounds like everything's working out. So we're very, very happy about that, Tom. So let's see here, Paul. Over to wait a minute here. What a Paul? No, it goes to 73's. Dad, that's a good clear out. 73's, and good to meet you here on 40. Okay, I think we're going to go. Let me see it. KA3 Tango X-ray. Is that where it goes? Paul might be messing around. Might be messing up here, so forgive me. KA7RCN.
That's who signed. Ed was KA3PTX. He's gone out to dinner. Kind of a late dinner, my friend. If you're still listening, it ought to go over to Tom there, N3 Charlie X-Ray Papa. And Ed, we'll see you later. I want to get caught up with you a little bit, too, on a couple of other things going on. Tom, go ahead. Make a transmission.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Paul. And Ed, good evening to you. We'll catch you again some other time. We'll talk about the Slant 6. I had a 72 Duster. So probably the best motor ever made anywhere. But we didn't appreciate it at the time. So, and Mike, very good. Yes, thank you as well. And the Valiant sounds great tonight. Paul, yeah, Adam's doing quite well. In fact, they're all coming down Sunday. They have 2 children and 1 on the way, all girls. And our daughter and son-in-law, they have another girl. So we have 3.5 girls. And we're getting everybody here on Sunday. And we're also getting a friend from France and her boyfriend from New York City that are joining us, we think. So we're going to have a full house, and tomorrow is wash the porch, mow the back acre, and get the grill ready for a full day on Sunday, and we'll sleep well Sunday night. But Paul, no, we haven't been traveling, but yes, we're going to be again. We're headed to Well, yeah, we're headed to France and Italy for about I don't know 12 or 13 days, come June 2nd. And the fact we're going to be visiting with the mother of the gal that's coming tomorrow night. She's Justine is from Paris, but she's been working here for Citibank, and she's living in New York, and she's our second daughter almost. So she's bringing her newfound boyfriend and introducing us, and then we're going to meet her parents that we've known for many years. We've exchanged children for about 25 years or 30 years or so. So it's all good. So, and yeah, Howard's coming up to do some work on the station when we get back. So he wants to put a new laptop in here. He uses the station all the time, which is fine. That's why it's here. But just wanted to mention, I don't know how I stumbled on it, but there's a company called I think it's PureLadderline.com, and I picked up this ATU 2KD automatic antenna tuner unit and a stepper tune control box, and they're not cheap, but it's an amazing piece of gear. I've always hesitated to use an automatic antenna tuner for the Super Senior, but the thing is rock solid and stable, and it's out in the garden shed, and it feeds the doublet, and I've got up to 16 memory positions, so I can take the thing. Can't take it to 160 because the antenna's fairly capacitive, but I can go anywhere from the bottom of 80 meters all the way up through 10, and have perfect visual with it. So I'm very happy. The Super Senior is seeing zero visual, and it's stable as can be. So that's the only new addition here. So let's see. I guess, Dave, you get it. On K2IJY with a nice sounding Johnson 500. This is Tom N3CXP in Allentown, PA. Over to you. Good evening.
Yeah, appreciate it, folks. Coming in good. Let's see. K7 RCN. That banging stuff. It's amazing how well that sounds. Most Giants don't sound like that. You must have done a lot of work on it. Usually they're decent. They work out pretty good, but all this audio stuff had to be modified. The Johnson 500 was a basket case for the time. There wasn't one thing that was right in it. All the interlocks were bad. All the switches didn't work right. The high voltage flashed over. All the caps in the whole radio had to be replaced. So, I took it upon I put this on a state sale workshop, so I redid it all. It's working okay now. Anyway, so it's my main unit. I'm working on Lee, my friend Lee, WWTDX. Him and I are building a couple AM rigs together. So we're going to see what we can come up with. I have a Collins 20V2 I run on 160, 75, and 40. It's at my friend Jim's house, W22A. We share this transmitter. And we get on AM once in a while with him, not too often. So that's about it. Anyway, I'll 673. I'm going tomorrow to visit them. I'm going out to a show tomorrow. So I gotta get some sleep. So I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Thanks for letting me in. Having a good time. Everybody's 40 meters nice tonight. This late at night, quiet. 7-3 guys, and thanks for letting me in. This is K2IJY. In New York, about 100 miles north of the town of Shokan, New York. 7-3, guys.
All right, I think I get it here. Let me make sure I'm not dumb. Yeah, very good. K2IJY. And the group WA3VJB. All right, there. Good night. Yeah, I don't think I knew about the tri-banded 20V2. Have to hear a little bit more about that sometime when you are on 40 meters daytime. But yeah, conditions are good right now. And I had already presented some flowers there to Mike for the sound of his Valiant, and I'm glad you concur. I think the distinguishing feature that makes that sound so good, Mike, to my ears, is the nice kick up around 3,000, maybe 3,500 hertz. It's got a very nice articulation to it that I'm not used to hearing at all, let alone clean like yours is. And you've got the lower end response tailored to where it feels like your voice energy is. So your voice and the transmitter are matched quite nicely. And I agree with Dave, it might have taken some work to accomplish that there, but the payoff is greatly appreciated here at this end. And Tom, very good on the ATU, and that the Super Senior is happy with it. Wow. It must be broadbanded enough, the Q must be enough or adequate that the high frequency response doesn't trip it. Every wire tuner I used around here, as soon as it gets past about 5 kc, the Q of the tuner is so high that it trips the protective circuitry. That was one of the problems. And the other problem, before I came up with the current antenna configuration, was the reactive nature of the antenna itself. It was still a dipole. It's much happier with a 50 ohm inverted V configuration, coax fed right into the back of the rig. No tuner. But I can only go down to 7260 or so, 65, which is fine. Although I know there's some activity on 7160. It would be easy enough if I were on with that group regularly to simply put up another inverted V, oriented in the other direction. Of course, the V is more omni anyway than a dipole, but be that as it may, I could simply cut a different one to the low part of the band and go with it from there. 7160 used to be fairly active, especially in the southeastern states. I have a recording that's been posted on YouTube for about 15 years now. It's got thousands of views, and it's of my SP600 on 7160, listening to the activity there. And there were like several. I think there were 3 KW1s that night. I was on with my 300G, and it was just a huge tall ship collection in that recording that I think is what made it so popular. So that's kind of neat. And yeah, Ed, if you're still listening, I stand corrected there on the rig. It was the HT44 over to the Super Senior. Sounding good. Always like the sound of those rigs. Tom's is another one that we got a trio of them here on the frequency this evening. And yeah, very good on France, Tom, and your visitor coming in on Sunday. I recently revived some correspondence with Claude, F5HSH, who I knew from 10 meters during cycle 23. 15, nearly 20 years ago. And he's doing fine. He's almost 80 years old now. Hard to believe that much time has passed. He's long since been retired from one of the universities in France, but we used to have hours-long conversations. And I built a friendship with him. He invited Pam and I over to stay with he and his wife. Never got around to doing it, but it was that kind of a bond that we had formed that I was immediately reminded of when you talked about exchanging children with the couple in France. That was a great way to put it. I like that. So, Mike, I didn't get too much from you there. I know when roundtables form, there's a tendency to be more abbreviated, and I forget to do that, I have to admit. And the pages of notes winds up getting kind of unwieldy, so I only touch on the high points here and there. I will say one more thing, though, about your Husky lawn tractor, and then when Ed mentioned his International Harvester. Our Wizard, our Western Auto lawn tractor from 50 years ago was traded out for a Massey Ferguson, which is a maker of farm implements. I don't know if they're still in business or not. But the Massey Ferguson was a strapping lawn tractor, and it had a forward drive transmission. You push it a little, it goes slow. You push it a little bit more, it went faster. And you push it all the way forward, and that was the fastest it would go. It was a fascinating transport on the thing. I liked cutting that grass because the mechanism to do it with was interesting. So isn't it funny how we get our start in fandom for motors? From our tractors of our youth and lawn mowers. And yeah, I forgot about California banning two-cycle engines. We've got that here in certain jurisdictions against two-cycle leaf blowers and probably any other two-cycle accoutrements. Our county does not have that ban yet. And my backpack leaf blower is a two-cycle. We had a couple of snows this winter where a few years ago I learned that if the snow is a very dry powder, your backpack leaf blower is an excellent way to clear your sidewalk and the cars. And so I had strapped that on for, I guess, the first of 3 snows that we had this past winter. And it was just a wonderful thing. Cleared it right out. Because we've got a gravel driveway, which makes it a little more peculiar to use a conventional snowblower. Because it's not even, and if you don't have it just the right depth, you wind up throwing your gravel out the side, too. So the leaf blower was the answer for that. Anyway, I guess we'll wrap things up. Tom, Ed's out of there. Tom's with us still. Dave signed out. Johnson 500 doing fine. Dave, watch your scope or crank the gain up a little higher next time. You had a lot more carrier than you did audio. I think you were just away from the mic there a little bit from your usual position. Usually I think you do watch that or a mod monitor. And Mike, back over to you there. I think I'll head for the door here if there's nothing further for tonight, and I'm awful glad you answered my CQ. KA7RCN, New Matamoros, Ohio, with I think N3CXP, the only other one with us still, WA3VJB. Go ahead, Mike.
All right. Fine business all around. Just wonderful QSO here. VA3VJB with the group. KA7RCN. Yes, well, I wanted to make a comment there. I think Tom was talking about the AT unit. Yeah, I've talked to a fellow there some length. The unit that you bought there is an excellent example of a machining extraordinaire units. So I'm glad it worked out because I know I had met Bruce there, the designer of those rigs, the Super Seniors, DIY. But through the years, it's been kind of the bane of them is kicking out and so on. And it just takes a lot of critiquing to get them online and to get them where they operate, to what they're advertised for. It's a wonderful transmitter. And very good on the Italy and France trip. All I can say is be safe and have fun. Sounds like a great opportunity. Boy, you brought back some memories of the Western Auto. The Western Auto and the Wizard brand, and oh my, that was when I spent a lot of my lawnmower money in the miscellaneous little things there at the Western Auto. A lot of the big D batteries, the big ones, or maybe they were called A. They were about the size of a large glass of water, and you could probably melt the fenders off your truck with the amperage on them. But used to use those for my model planes, starting those. You remember the what do they call them? The little 049s and this, that, and the other. And they also even had a steam engine. I think I've got a steam engine that they had used a sterno fuel, jellied alcohol. And yeah, I think you're talking about a hydrostatic drive. They still use that. In fact, the tractor I was working on here, the lawn tractor, has got a hydrostatic drive. I've never had one, and I was kind of afraid of it until I read up about them to see what they were all about. But it actually is very comfortable way of shifting gears and variable drive, so I'm happy with that for what it is. Let's see. Yeah, remember another old piece of equipment. It used to be called a Gravely. Gravely made some really nice stuff, very heavy duty, kind of like what you guys were talking about with the John Deere and so on and so forth. Anyways, I do have to run myself. I got to exit my radio shack here. It's about 20 feet to the farmhouse, and then but I got to make a shortcut over to the. I do have some chickens here, and I need to to, they pile in there on the roost, and so I can go up there and make sure nothing else wants to roost with them, if you know what I mean. So anyway, 73s all around, fellas. I think Dave's probably signed, and I think Tom was heading that away. And boy, what a pleasure here, Paul, to run in here tonight, run into you tonight. Thank you for the report. And your station sounds as good as always. Just wonderful audio there. I'm listening to you on an FRG 7700, but I do have the bandwidth to a medium setting. I got to see what, I don't know exactly how wide it is, but it's somewhat narrower than normal. And a little bit of tone control, so it was a quick and dirty receiver, and it's actually worked out quite nice here on top of the Johnson Viking body. 73s all around, fellas. This is KA7RC, and I don't know who it goes to, but everybody have a great evening and a safe weekend.
Tom, are you still with us? Go ahead.
I take it because I don't have left here, so I won't. I'll make it very, very short. Very good. We'll all carry on some more on the tractors. I have a John Deere with a hydrostatic drive, and the present John Deere, even though it's 25 years old, is basically an automatic transmission and 4-cycle Kawasaki snowmobile engine. Wonderful tractor. You just can't kill it. 1,450 hours. That's not a lot of hours on it, though, so it works just great. And I will I'll probably put a picture of the ATU TKD automatic antenna tuner, and I don't know if Paul's still here, but it is a low enough Q that I can split the entire 40-meter band in 2 presets. So I have one at 7185 that takes care of the lower part, and one here at 7285, and that takes care of pretty much anything we could do. And it's much wider than the passband, the 10 kilohertz or so that we use with Super Seniors. So it is zero diswar and very, very nice and very, very well built. It is really a fantastic tuner, and the doublet gives me the advantage of those low elevation lobes on 40 meters, and so it's pretty much as good as the Beam, if not better. So anyway, with that all around, if we don't catch you before we shove off again, we'll talk to you guys later in June, I guess. So this is Ron Price here. Please thank you. Good evening and happy Memorial Day to everyone. Good night.
All right, Tom. Yeah, I had to answer Mike's question about the 049. That was probably a WenMac. A WenMac. I had one of those too, although my model airplane was at the end of a tether with a handle that you could rock back and forth for up and down action of the plane, and you went around and around and around. It didn't go anywhere. You stood in one place and it went around in a circle. I didn't enjoy that very much, but I remember taking that thing off, flicking the prop, and getting nicked by it a couple of times. Plastic prop, but yeah, the WenMac. Probably what you had there. Yeah, please do, Tom, post that picture of that tuner. One of these days I'm going to have to think about making the most out of this transmitter and parking it somewhere on 80 from time to time. Since I'm running a full-size dipole on 80, I'm sure it's going to be reactive to the Super Senior as well and not happy. Matter of fact, that's cut to 3885. I'm thinking of replacing that line so that it's resonant down at 3705, where I'm spending more time these days. And that wire tuner that you've got there might be the ticket to get me both ends of the band. So, yeah, please do tell. And, yeah, very good on the upcoming trip. I hope I will talk with you before that. And please tell Howard he's invited anytime he wishes to get on with us. I just get this hesitancy that I'm a CW guy, and here I am on phone, and I'm not on phone very much, and Howard, shut up, just talk. He always makes sure he thanks you for your hospitality there in hosting his radio. So, Tom, good man, Mike, real good hearing you. Please don't make it so long next time. Ed, hope dinner is good. And Dave, I hope your excursion tomorrow is a good one there too, if you're still listening. See you guys later. N3CXP signed, everybody else out the door. WA3VJB Annapolis. Good night to all ships at sea.
Hello, neighbor.
Hey, what are you doing there, Greater Herndon?
What was that? You took a fade.
Oh, I just said hello, Greater Herndon. Oh, wait, no, that's my southern neighbor, not my southwestern neighbor.
That's correct. It's a southern neighbor. How are you?
Doing good. I was just thinking about you because I posted 2 pictures of 300Gs, one of them from K3RTV that you now have, and then the one that KW1I has sold has been posted today as part of our Memorial Weekend remembrances of wartime radios. Of course, both those Collins put stations on the air right after World War II, so it made sense. How you doing, Brian?
Hey, we're doing all right. I'm wondering, we'll have to get around to getting that car up in some kind of operational state for somebody of my position. Right now, well, it hasn't been on the air in a couple, 3 years there, Paul, so we'll have to shoot for getting it on the air this fall. But you said one of them sold?
Well, Dale sold his as part of a remodeling project. KW1I has, I think his is serial number 40, one of the old ones. It's the one with the bullet dent in the front door. Somebody shot it, and the bullet did not go through.
I imagine they all have stories. This one has a story of the shadow of the clock.
That's right, because that came from WFOY St. Augustine. And they had the studio clock hung on the edge of the door for, 50 years or so. And the environmental weathering of the paint of the transmitter was not taking place underneath that clock. And it was an old schoolroom clock. I think you may have seen the picture of before it was removed from the WFOY studio. And the clock is hanging on it.
Yeah, I still have all the documentation for it that you passed along there. It's had a moment or two of hesitation to write you and say, hey, it's time for a new home, but I don't know, Paul. If I can get it to the point where it's just easier for me to operate and more reliable for me to operate, it may be just a matter of putting in an actual physical attenuator and a physical external tuner rather than relying on trying to tune and load everything and twist and turn dials, because that's become more and more of a challenge of late.
Yeah, I know, and it wasn't easy to begin with. So yeah, you got my compassion there to get that thing in a logistically usable fashion. And I think it needs a little bit of technical work too. I wish we could get Clark down here. He actually understands the theory of operation of that thing that's beyond me. I've been very fortunate to have technical support and get the thing on the air. But I think he would be the one to get down here. Of course, that's only 160 as well. I'm not on 160, so it's not as if I get any benefit from it. Because I ain't on there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I even considered picking up a couple of those senior super seniors, but yeah, this TS-890 here doesn't do all that bad. The FT-101 and SP-220 are sitting downstairs. Maybe someday I'll dust off the tubes on them and fire them up. We'll see what happens this summer. Lots of time. So, I don't want to keep you, Paul. I know that you are headed out the door there, and you probably have a weekend full of being on the boat there, Gad.
Actually, no. Have you seen the wind forecast? No. AB3WFE, WA3VJB. No, we're staying home. There's too many Claysies out on the bay, too. No, it's probably their first boat of the season. They don't know what they're doing. They're drunk. And it's Memorial Day weekend, so that's another reason I usually don't go out. But hey, you know, we're both retired now. Bam and I, we can go out during the week, and there's nobody out there. So that's what kind of the game plan is. We haven't been in yet this season. And yeah, no, when I heard you check in, it's like, man, I don't think, I've even called you on 2 meters before I've talked to you on 40. And this is great. But yeah, the Super Senior might be your answer too. Same kind of power, easy to dial in. And as you heard Tom talking about, there's even a tuner that seems to make it happy these days. But hey, you know, with your property and your yard logistics there, we could build you an inverted V for 80 and 40, and you wouldn't have to have a wire tuner. Go ahead.
Well, this is a 160 meter. Well, what am I on now? I'm on 40. So I'm on the folded dipole of the Stepper Urban Beam right now. But when you hear me on 160 or 80, it's on a center-fed inverted V dual-band dipole. So it's a single-fed 50 ohm coax antenna for 160 and 80. It's about 65 feet, which isn't really high enough for either band, but you know, it does quite well for NVIS communications there.
Yeah, I know that would be a good antenna for a normal transmitter, but the Super Senior is not normal. It's very picky. And I don't know how long you were listening, but even the best wire tuners that people normally get, typically get, the Q is so high that the transmitter is not happy after the edges of frequency response, the audio frequency response. You know, past 5 kc from center frequency is beyond the tuner's Q. And the transmitter says, nah, ain't going to transmit, and it'll throw a fault. So we could talk about that another time. It's just a peculiarity that I know in my case I was able to solve, and I'm quite happy with the transmitter. You've heard it now for years. So anyway, hope everybody at home is happy and healthy. Yeah, let me out of here. I'll encourage you to get on more often. I guess you're still running the shop, aren't you? You and your wife. And as I think I communicated by email, I was awful sorry to hear your dad passed away. That was very nice spending the weekend with him there when we moved that transmitter from K3RTV to your place. KB3 WFE WA3 VJB.
Yeah, okay, Paul, we appreciate that. Well, it was a lot of fun. And we sure do miss him. Alright, well, I'll let you get the weekend started there, and we'll do more of an effort here of turning everything on. We've been sitting here listening along to you guys. I actually took my Bose 700 series noise-canceling headsets, plugged in the little mini cord that comes with it, plugged it into 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch adapter, and plugged it into the front of the TS890. Now I'm actually enjoying a 100% quiet studio effect because the noise canceling has knocked out everything else in the house, from the heating and ventilation to the amplifier to the hum of the power supply. And then when I unkey, all I hear is you, Paul. WA3 VJB. My apologies. Enjoy the weekend from KB3 WFV.
Okay, Brian, yeah. I get that same effect when I use a set of earbuds to listen to my music player, and I put a set of David Clark gun shooting ear protection on. So it knocks down about 30 dB from ambient, and the earbuds are isolating, and I use them to, you know, while I'm cutting grass. We were talking about that. And I can't even hear the mower. I can feel it, but I can't hear the mower because I've got this dual layered hiding of external sound. So I know what you mean. That's pretty cool. Yeah, conditions have been really good tonight too. I wish you checked in earlier. But yeah, don't make it so long. And if you're still on the La Plata machine down there, I'll give you a call from time to time. I can't hit it unless I'm in the truck. I need high power. I can't hit that with a handheld, even if I'm on the back deck up in the air. then you're not worth climbing on the roof for. KB3WFA. Good night, neighbor. WA3BJB. Glad you said hello.
Alrighty, Paul, take care. The Sunderland machine, 146.985 Sunderland. And it's got pretty good coverage up your way. We'll see you later, KB3WFE.